Alright lads, so today, finishing up these showcases for the brand new characters in Bleach Brave Souls. Today we have the long-awaited and highly anticipated BANKAI RUKIA. I'm going to preface right from the get-go that the intro itself, me talking about the character, might be a tad bit longer than usual. So if you want to skip straight to the gameplay, it's on your screen right now. Before we do talk about it though, real quick, comparing the old model to the new one, as we did of course originally get BANKAI RUKIA back in 2018, you're going to notice quite the big upgrade in the character modeling for the new anime version. There's overall more detail on the face, on the clothing itself. She overall looks significantly better. In terms of design, there is a tad bit of a difference, more so on the back of the clothing, as it adds an extra piece to the cape itself, right? I guess K-Lab themselves, when they were developing the manga version, didn't notice that, or maybe the anime team itself added that in when adapting the manga into the anime. Overall, the character model got a really good upgrade, and at the same time, the character art itself is also really good. I love the character pose. She overall looks great, and again, the red background does a lot more selling on the character art. It just looks really good. One of my favorite arts in the entire game, especially from the year 2024. With that said though, now let's talk about the character. I also, I guess, should make it very clear, I don't think these are nitpicks, and what I'm going to say does not make the character bad. I think she's an overall good unit, but does have flaws, and it's flaws that is on a character that shouldn't have these flaws, right? Because we aren't just talking about a random character. This is BANKAI RUKIA. Disregarding your opinion on the character, because I know there are many people that just don't like Rukia, her Bankai is one of her defining moments in the entire series. And her using the Bankai was by far, if you were on social media, the biggest thing to come from 1000 Year Blood War Season 2. Clips talking of any clip of BANKAI RUKIA would get millions of views and millions of impressions over on Twitter. It was by far the most talked about thing in the anime when it happened, and with that, you would have thought, especially on a popular character such as Rukia, it would have translated into one of the most broken characters in the entire game. Unfortunately, what we do get is a good Guild Quest unit that is flawed because she has a few problems. Her first problem, in my opinion, is the Squad 0 Killer Plus. Like I mentioned, she wants to be used in Guild Quest, more specifically the Squad 0 Guild Quest, the melee one. Now, the reason why this is a bad thing is, one, we just got a character early this year. I think it's a tad bit too early to be replacing Yumichika. And you know what? If they were going to replace Yumichika, she should have been significantly better. As it stands right now, there's a decent debate to be made on who's actually better, which shouldn't be happening. We shouldn't be comparing BANKAI RUKIA to Yumichika of all characters, right? Alongside that though, she does have Guild Quest specific skills, which is something that you don't want to see on a big character like this. Of course, it doesn't make her bad outside of Guild Quest. You know, she does have the standard of what you do want in a character, Frenzy +2. When you inflict a status on which she does have an increased chance to do it against Soripers, she will then get an 80% spiritual pressure boost. That overall is good. We've come a long way, right, when a character back in 1000 Year Blood War Round 1 got shafted. 1000 Year Blood War Byakuya on release was basically unusable. He was an objectively bad unit. Nowadays, a character can't really release like that. Rukia is not unusable. She's not a bad unit, but she should have been better, and she has flaws. And in my opinion, the worst part about this character, and if this one change was made, she'd be a significantly better character, is that SA2. It's a team boost attack. In this case, upon using it, you'll get a 43% attack, focus, and also defense increase for yourself and also your entire team. She does not need this. Since she wants to be used in Guild Quest, they didn't consider or keep in mind the fact that they just released a character with a team boost, that of course being Shunsui. And I guess you can make the case that not everyone has Shunsui, and I guess it's nice to have a team boost. But SP units should not be having team boost attacks. I don't think they're good on SP units, especially in a case like Rukia where she wants to inflict status augments. A boost attack like this cannot, for some reason, inflict status augments. So it's one less strong attack that can't inflict freeze and also drain. And at the same time, because most importantly it is a boost attack, it does mean that she has to get two skills such as Enhancer to increase the length of the boost from 10 to 20 seconds, and also Booster to make sure she can give herself more stats. If she had a normal SA2, this attack would have returned a lot faster, it would have been able to inflict status augments, and then also instead of getting the Enhancer and also Booster skill, she could have gotten more damage damage skills, more utility skills to overall make her a good unit. Of course, like I mentioned, she is a guild quest character, so she also does get guild quest skills. Increased killer effect, increased melee damage, for example. You know, they're kind of whatever. I don't think it's that bad. My, again, biggest gripe with her is just that SA2, man. It's not that good. Especially because, again, it's going to have a longer cooldown. There's now more emphasis on that SA1. And the SA1 that she did get isn't bad, but it's just a normal lunge attack. Our most recent SP unit that also did have a boost attack was 1000G Blood War Soifon. And she has the benefit of, one, having an EX attack, so you have something extra to use as you wait for that SA2 to come back, but she also has the best strong attack 1 in the entire game, or one of the best, so that SA1 can do a lot of carrying, whereas Rukia, not so much. So most of my complaints, and I guess nitpicks, if you want to call it that, it's just from that SA2. I could care less about the guild quest skills. She's overall good unit outside of guild quests, but it's this SA2 that just does a lot of damaging to the unit, in my opinion. It doesn't do it any favors. With that said, though, let's quickly talk about some of the good things. Again, damage output is pretty good. Frenzy 2, 80% Berserker when you do inflict the status element. She has the increased chance to inflict status elements. She has complete status immunity, which she can share, which I think is kind of cool. We very rarely ever see that skill put on characters. She has a decent Berserker value, and she also does get more recharge when you are at full stamina to make the most out of her strong attacks. And I think it's going to be quite easy to stay at full stamina, given the fact that she does have freeze and also drain. It's very rare for us to get a character with 2 status elements that includes freeze. A lot of the times, especially on tertiary units, whenever they do get freeze, it's just freeze. So I'm glad they also did manage to include freeze and a second status element. I would have loved freeze and weakening, but freeze and drain's also pretty good too. And I don't mean to go back to the topic of her missing skills here, but I think it's worth mentioning. I just remembered it. Again, because she has the enhancer and booster skill, she also doesn't have any skills here that increase her soul bomb damage. Which is kind of weird, right? Because, like, the big part about Rukia is the Bankai, and you only get that in the soul bomb. So you would have thought maybe her soul bomb would be a tad bit special. Maybe it would hit very hard. But no, she has, like, no skills here that increase her soul bomb damage. Now, to some, maybe that's not a big issue. You know, you can't nuke through multiple waves in Guild Quest anymore, but it's still nice having a strong soul bomb, whether that's devastation, bombardment, or weakened defense. But I think in Rukia's case, given the fact that she is a squad 0 killer, in Guild Quest content, alongside the main squad 0 bosses, you're going to see Soul Reapers, characters she doesn't have killer against, and therefore when you use your soul bomb, it's not going to kill the Soul Reapers. So I feel like in this case, Rukia would have actually been better had she been given more damage on her soul bomb. Again, in exchange for enhancer and also booster, had she been given a normal strong attack too, she could have been given those skills to make her soul bomb hit a tad bit harder. Weakened defense, devastation, for example. Or at the same time, maybe if they gave her a second killer, Story Burn, it would have also made it a lot better in Guild Quest content, the content she is designed for. Again, I apologize for the long discussion on the character itself, but I feel like there is quite a lot to say about the character before we even jump into the showcase, because again, she's a big character, she deserves better, and she is a flawed unit. Not a bad unit, so let's quickly demonstrate why she is actually good. So first up for the showcase today, we are going to be using a Zeta Pill, a artisanal tea set, and also a fortification pill, because we are taking it into links or trials where I believe there are hidden enemies. When it comes to epic raids and also guild quests, we are of course going to take off the Zeta Pill. For character links, we are using Aizen, we're using Toshiro, and also Hikone to get a good mixture of full stamina and also strong attack recharge. Bonus abilities include full stamina damage and also long stride, and when we use it in guild quests and also epic raids, we'll take off that long stride and put on SP instead. Alright then, so here we go, taking it into co-op links or trials. One thing I do want to mention that I think is actually really cool about this unit is the voice lines for the character, right? Every strong attack that she does do, from her SA1, 2, and then 3, she's getting colder, right? So I believe SA1 is minus 18 degrees, her SA2 is minus 50 degrees, and then her SA3 is absolute 0. That's a really cool character design. Like, the stronger the strong attack gets, SA1, 2 into 3, the colder she gets. And the SA3, which is one of the best strong attack 3s in the entire game, right? Really good range to it, is like her at her best, which I really do like. Design-wise, I think that's kind of cool. Again, it's just weird to have an SA2 that clearly should be able to inflict freeze that just for some reason can't, right? Let's use our SA3 there. SA3 visuals I actually think is really good, by the way. And I guess it's going to be quite nice here that we can just stand wherever we want to. But again, you're going to notice that she will never have killer here, which does suck a tad bit. And, you know, you can make the case that you might never use it in this quest, but I would like to actually use her. And I guess in this case, one example of the drain is that we can potentially get back up to full stamina. If I'm making mistakes like this, it's the first time I played this quest, so bear with me. We do lose quite a bit of damage at full stamina, so we are going to have to reapply status limits here. But then again, it kind of sucks a tad bit because... are there any Sorpers in this lobby? There might not be, you know. That SA3 is great. But there you go. You can get back up to full stamina with our strong attacks, which isn't too bad. I guess if she wasn't designed for Guild Quest, an increased chance to inflict status limits on any hard character would have also been really good too. But then again, that would have meant she performed less or weaker in Guild Quest. But we're into the final stage. Let's just use the boost just to get that extra bit of damage and then sob them. There we go. And we didn't one-shot, but again, you know, she doesn't have the strongest sob bomb. But I will say, I actually really like the sob. I've been seeing a lot of, like, maybe criticism on it. I think her sob looks great. Most of the criticism has been on the fact that the Bankai model itself looks weird, maybe? I think it's just the angle. It's not like her model's any worse than any other character released in the last year. It's just the angle that maybe makes her look weird. The original Bankai Rukia always had the similar thing, but they zoomed it out significantly fast so you can't see the problem with that angle. And then of course the mastered Bankai Rukia, you know, it's an original sob bomb. She's doing her own thing, so you don't get that angle to make the model look a tad bit weird, I guess. BBS models have always looked weird from the side, so maybe that's why people think that. But I honestly think her model's fine. I think her sob bomb's fine. I think the character itself is kind of okay. It's just, again, that SA2 and some of the skills that she's lacking. In this case, for our first attempt, we got a 2-minute clear time. Let's try that again, though. Alrighty then, so into attempt number 2, let's try that once more. So it was a good call to give look at that, beautiful. Look at that, that was a beautiful room. That was a beautiful room. But it was a good call to give hidden enemies Zeta Pill, because yes, there are actually hidden enemies in these quests. Let's use the SA3 again. Look at the range on that. That SA3 not only comes out fast too, but it's such a good strong attack. It really is. Maybe she would have been better had she been able to plant a trap, maybe? I'm not too sure. I wouldn't mind the trap returning. So we don't take any damage here. We are absolutely fine, right? We are doing good damage when we are at full stamina. We just got to make sure not to take any damage. So not too bad right there. Again, never having killer in this quest, but we are still pretty much 2-shotting, 1-shotting. That's SA3 upwards. SA2 does, again, group everyone together, which is why the SA2 being able to inflict status limits would have been a lot better here, because it does have a decent hit count to it, and it would have been really good for inflicting status limits when not against Sorupers, because if we were against Sorupers, we would be able to easily inflict status limits. Let's grab that sob bomb, though, use it. Again, I'm going to let the sob bomb play out, because I like it. I like the sob bomb. It's exactly as I imagined it. And I will say it was weird seeing the blue dress on her, because of course that's the way the anime style does look. That was weird to me because I should have been expecting it, but for some reason I wasn't. And I would absolutely love to get a playable Bankai Rukia in the new anime style, right? Of course, we were lucky to even get the original Bankai Rukia playable, since we did get the 10 years later version. And you know, that Rukia's model also looks great too, but I don't know, the way the new one looks with the blue dress, the new style, I would love a 10 years later Rukia with the new style. That would be absolutely peak. Because I guess that's one complaint that I've been seeing about the character. I think it's not really the most valid complaint on the unit itself, but people thought she would maybe be playable in the Bankai unit. Again, the whole point is that she doesn't know how to use it. It's the first time she used it. It's a dangerous Bankai. She cannot be moving in that Bankai, right? So it was expected it was only going to be in the sub. And I guess that's like the most unfortunate part about a Bankai Rukia in general. Is like the coolest part about the character is only in the sub and it's not playable. It's like you get teased on a cool transformation that you'll never get. Again, we were lucky to even get it in the first place. I need to use my sub now, just to get back up to full stamina. This Nelia has been the biggest headache in this entire quest. Alright, let's go here. SA2, it's up, then 3. I guess it is nice though, you can notice a bit of the extra recharge when we are at full stamina. Strong attack coming back like a second faster almost. And when you do inflict the stars on it does feel good. In general, the character feels fine to play with. I don't think she's awkward to play with or anything. You know, it could have been worse, right? I think a strong attack kit plays well together. Would have maybe liked if she was able to do more damage to freeze. Even though her SA1 isn't really the greatest, right? Many people would nitpick a lunge SA1. I think it's fine. And visually, by the way, I actually like the looks of it. It's an attack that we see her specifically do in the anime, so it's always nice to see recognizable attacks translate into game. Same with her nat string too. I can't really show it, but it's that final hit where she does like that ice pillar. I'm pretty sure that final hit on the Natchering is the attack that she does do to block S0's fear cones, if you want to call them that. Let's go up here though, SA1 into the 2. Again, would have loved to have been able to inflict a statism on there, but unfortunately not. Now, this is the stage where we can actually use our Soul Bomb. But again, you kind of want to wait for the boss to spawn in to then use the Soul Bomb, because she doesn't have that powerful of a Soul Bomb, which again, I don't want to repeat myself, but it is weird that the biggest part about the character is the Bankai, and you only see the Bankai in the Soul Bomb, and then the Soul Bomb is like the weakest part of the character's attack. Because Byakuya, for example, has like bombardment and stuff. When we used his Soul Bomb, he was able to nuke the entire stage. Rukia would only really just go into the boss stage. Or boss wave more so. But clear time, to be honest, hasn't been too bad. Granted, this quest has become easier. And, you know, if we wanted to use our strong attacks, that was relatively fine. For the last 2 quests, we have been getting a 1 minute and 10 second clear time, which I think is serviceable. Again, if you want to play Bankai Rukia, you can do it, right? She's definitely not unplayable. You know, this isn't a 1000-year Blood War Byakuya situation that we did see back in 2017. And as you can see, a 1 minute and 7 clear time is actually pretty good. The difference, to be fair, with Byakuya and also Rukia in terms of clear times, if you watch the showcase, is that Byakuya was able to clear maybe like 15 seconds faster, mainly due to the fact that he's able to Soul Bomb an entire stage. Rukia is not able to do that because she lacks Devastation, Bombardment, weakened defense, etc. Also, like a weakening status on it. So when we didn't use our Soul Bomb with Byakuya, we actually get a very similar clear time. Next up though, let's take Rukia into the Awakened Ion Epic Raids. Currently right now she is a bonus character, so we are getting that 3 times damage output. And as for the build that we are using, we're going to be using 2 Toshio pets, giving us 20% extra Berserker from each individual pet, extra full stamina damage, and also Renji pet because it seems appropriate. But also the Renji pet is giving us extra shield damage so we can get through that 4th and final phase a lot faster. Alright then, so let's see how this does go. So of course we are going to start off the quest using our Soul Bomb. This way it does guarantee us to actually inflict a status on. Therefore we can of course get our spiritual pressure boost. We are then going to follow up with the SA2 into the 1. Now we have the extra stats. Good damage there, like 360k per hit. SA1 goes into the 3rd phase. And now this way it's going to start to slow down a bit. We really need to inflict a status on it, which we can't really do unless we have, to be fair, good enough damage as is, right? The SA2 does have quite a few hits, so we are able to break the barrier a lot quicker. At least when compared to Byakuya. And in comparison to Byakuya, we only cleared like 3 seconds slower. Obviously, Byakuya was a lot smoother to actually clear. If we compare the two, I feel like we made up with the extra lost in time because our SA2 has more hits, and that therefore allows us to destroy the barriers a lot faster. But 23 seconds is actually pretty good. It's basically in line with Byakuya. Let's try that once more though. Attempt number 2, let's again go in, Soul Bomb, SA2 into the 1. Then 3 again. Looks like very consistent damage numbers here. I'm getting a few lag spikes here. Probably going to reset my PC after this run. I guess we just have to wait for our attacks to come back, right? It's SA3. Then it basically takes us right into where we ended up last time. SA2 into the 1, and then a few more hits. At the very least, it looks very consistent, right? I think we can get maybe a sub 20 if we get very lucky on our status elements. But then again, to be fair, it's not like we're doing any more damage to freeze and also drain enemies. So yeah, for the most part, just looks like a consistent 23 seconds. But let's just triple confirm that. So Soul Bomb into the 2, follow up with the 1, 370k on the SA3. We've got another status element there, I guess we'll take it. Actually, it briefly stopped Iron from attacking us. And then let's SA1 into the 3. Yeah, basically looks like the exact same clear time, right? There we go. Not too bad then. Once more, since we're in Epic Raids, we get to see a full look at the character's strong attacks. I like the looks of them. So yeah, overall, consistent 23-second clear time in Epic Raids, at least when you're by yourself. Obviously, you're going to be playing with other Rukias, and of course, expected you're going to clear very fast. Next up, though, let's take it into Guild Quest, the game mode she was designed for. So in this case, we're going to try both Very Hard and also Nightmare. I like showcasing the character in Very Hard to get a good feeling of the character because this is the game mode we're most likely going to be using it in. While it's true we have Nightmare now, Nightmare isn't always going to be available. So in the case for the build, we are going to be using a Masanga, an artisanal tea set, and also a fortification pill. To be fair, maybe it's worth bringing the lieutenant's badge over the Masanga, but I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Maybe a second slow or whatever, right? Soul traits are full stamina, recharge, more strong attack damage at full stamina. Again, only SP level 10, full stamina, and this time SP as bonus abilities. Our second and also equally important character is going to be Shunsui. Again, the reason why Rukia did not need a boost SA2. Shunsui is going to go with Golden Chappie, and also Hollow Bait with full stamina and normal attack damage ×2 on the soul traits. He's 2-5 with full stamina and attack as bonus abilities. And then a very important character here is going to be Shuhei. Shuhei is in our team to give Rukia 20% more strong attack damage and also 40% more damage to enemies that are inflicted with a status element. Alongside that, because his team buff is only to mind attribute Soripers, it does mean it stacks with Mugetsu's team buff, which we can give when we use Mugetsu as a link. That's the general idea for the team. Let's jump into the quest. So remember, this is going to be the very hard difficulty. What we're going to do straight away is flash step forward and then SA3. And unfortunately, I don't think we got status proc there. I think Shunsui actually got a status proc. SA2 now. SA2 did good damage there. Let's use our 3. Not too bad. We kind of already made a mistake, but let's use our Subbum here. And you'll see, for example, this is only on very hard, right? We use our Subbum, and because we don't have killer against the Soripers, most importantly, because she doesn't have Devastation or Bombardment, the Subbum did not kill the Soripers, and that makes it awkward, right? Because you use your Subbum, and then you have to follow up with an extra attack. And because her only, like, really good AoE attack is the SA3, if you don't have an SA3 ready, it means that you're going to have to use 1 or 2 strong attacks to take down the boss and also the extra Soripers. That's a problem, by the way, that Yumachika has. I'm actually not sure if Yumachika can kill the Soripers faster too, but I remember it being a problem for a lot of Squad 0 Espada captain killers, right? Where they don't have the killer against the small mobs in their same arena, especially if they don't have a strong Subbum, right? In that case though, for our very first attempt, 43 seconds, not the greatest run, I will be honest. Let's try that once more, but I think a 50-second play time is definitely possible in very hard with Bankai Rukia. I think we got really unlucky on the first phase. We really should be able to one-shot phase 1, right? So let's SA3. Close enough, right? In this case, let's SA1 now. Again, I got hit. I don't know how. One enemy got left alive. That's fine, though, because our SA3 is back. I guess the enemies are somewhat positioned for us to use our SA3 and be able to do a lot of damage. Let's kind of try and hit all of them with the SA1 alongside... How did she not get... Somehow we're inflicting... What do you call it? No, it's... What's his name? Shunsui is inflicting stars. I mean, that's kind of annoying, is it not? He doesn't have an increased chance, but he's inflicting his drain. Second attempt there, though. 43 seconds. Let's do one more and see if we can get closer to 50. All right, then. So final run. Let's see how this does go. SA3 into the 1. Hopefully, Owetsu doesn't attack us here. The SA2 does have decent range that we are able to do pretty good there. Let's SA1 into the 3. I kind of want to back up, then Soul Bomb. This way, like, again, because we actually kind of freeze. It doesn't do us any favors here. Because there's leftover mobs, right? If we were able to actually kill on our Soul Bomb, that wouldn't have been too bad. So 46 seconds. I think a 50-second run is actually possible. But she doesn't play too bad when it comes to very hard content. In this case, it's mostly just a Soul Bomb, right? Because when you do use your Soul Bomb, you are freezing the enemies, and the enemies get stuck in place, right? They aren't coming closer to you. So you kind of want to hold out using the Soul Bomb until the enemies get a tad bit closer, which might mean you have to sacrifice half a second potentially. That way, when you do freeze them, hopefully one strong attack, SA1 or 2, is enough to take them down. The 4th boss is where we are slowed out. 1, 2, 3, and 5 are very simple. You clear them super fast. You almost one shot on them with this support, especially with Shunsui in the team. It's the 4th boss that needs a bit improvement, at least on my part. Again, we've only done 3 runs. I'm not claiming this to be the best run possible. I think a sub 50 is definitely possible with Bankai Rukia. With that said, though, now let's go into Nightmare and see how she does perform. Although I also do want to give a quick preface, right? Been a bit of drama when it comes to this current guild quest, because what you are going to notice is that the enemies are terribly placed. Look, tendrils all the way up here. That is terrible. In a way, it's kind of like they're making Bankai Rukia look worse than she actually is. Let's use our 1. I took a bit of damage there, so that's not ideal. But when you're playing with Rukia right now in Nightmare, or even someone like Yumachika, you're going to notice the enemies are kind of just all over the place. All over the place. On the benefit, though, we are able to guarantee almost a status proc here, which feels really good. Again, let's now Soul Bomb. SA3 into the 1. Any enemies left alive? Kind of an issue. After a while, we finally got into Ichibei, where we should be able to hopefully kill like 1-2 strong attacks, right? No, we can't. Unfortunately, we didn't get a status proc. Shouldn't we somehow inflict drain? What a bad run, by the way. What a bad run. 12 seconds for our first clay time. Let's try that again. We can definitely get better. All right, then. So next attempt, let's go here. SA3. I think the idea is that we want to take him out as fast as possible, so Shunsui can then start doing his damage, right? There we go. Let's back away, though, because Owetsu can be an issue with his very, very fast lunge. Again, all the enemies are just split apart. It makes Rukia look worse than she actually is. SA3. Into the one there. I'm going to use my one on Curio and kind of wait for the SP boost to go, then use our sub bomb. There we go. That way we can actually almost guarantee to inflict the status and keep our SP boost going into Ichibei. Didn't get a status proc. All the enemies are splat, but there we go. SA3 into the one, and then use the SA2. 23 seconds left. It's all right. It's all right. Again, it's Bankai Rukia, man. Come on. Come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? Byakuya was getting like 45 seconds remaining on Nightmare. And he's not even the GQ unit. That's also a problem, by the way, that these GQ units have that we have been seeing the last couple of so months. You know, quick little tangent. Masaki and also Ishin released in the same manner. One's a Guild Quest unit, one isn't. Can you guess who clears faster in GQ? It's Ishin. Kind of seeing the same thing now. Byakuya isn't technically a Guild Quest unit, but he's able to clear significantly faster. In Rukia's case, we got 23 seconds remaining. I think we can definitely push to 30. I think Yumachika would probably struggle more in Nightmare, so I do feel like she is an upgrade. Because I can't imagine doing this with Yumachika, where one, you're not guaranteed to inflict a status augment, because he only has an increased chance against heart enemies. And also, most importantly, Yumachika only has Drain. Drain is not helping you not get hit by these enemies. So I think the high chance to inflict freeze is really good here on Rukia. I would have loved, though, if she had maybe extra damage to freeze enemies, right? Because it ensures that we can almost keep our team at full stamina. Let's use our SA2. Then 1. There we go. Not too bad. Again, leftover enemies is kind of annoying. Took some damage here, but let's inflict a status augment. SA3 into the 1. Not too bad. Let's SA1, then 2. Somehow didn't inflict the status augment. Let Kiryu do what she needs to do and die. There we go. Back it up. The SA3 at least feels good. Like, that SA3 absolutely clears up. And you can tell it's doing a lot of carrying here, considering the fact that, you know, the placement for the enemies is terrible. Worse than usual. But the SA3 is still able to do a good job. I guess to a certain extent, the boost on Rukia is kind of helping us. Because we have a team boost here, we can stack that boost on Shunsui. And Shunsui can just focus on having high normal attack damage and also full stamina, instead of giving him the usual recharge links, right? Which you wouldn't have done if Rukia didn't have a team boost. If you want to give some credit for her having the team boost attack. I guess it is nice to say we aren't struggling to clear Nightmare. I mean, we're going in quite easily. She's definitely a good lead, but just in comparison to all like the really broke units that we've been getting for Nightmare, it does feel a tad bit lackluster, considering the fact that, again, she's designed for Guild Quest, right? That's SA3 sideways. Again, very awkward placements on these enemies. I guess next time this GQ does come around, it might be better, because this isn't always going to be the permanent spawns. But I think the idea that we need to focus on is trying to kill all the mobs as fast as possible, so Shunsui can actually focus on the mobs instead of trying to, on the boss, instead of focusing on trying to kill the little mini mobs, right? The Soul Reapers in this case. Let's use our 1. 1 again. And in that case, let me just pause there. Looks like a 23-second run. Let's reset the app, because this is our last Guild Quest ticket. All right, let's see how this does go. So in this case, we want to kind of position ourselves to take down everyone and also somehow hit Dendro. That way, Shunsui can just straight go in and focus on the boss itself. Let's go here. SA1 into the 2. Finish up with the 1. Again, a bit awkward that we have some leftover mobs, but I feel like we're doing good. The SA3 does inflict a status on Senjumaru. Maybe if I killed the small mobs on the side, I would have been able to follow up with an attack there. Let's SA3. Again, in this case, right, I don't even feel like I would even want to use the Soul Bomb. I mean, I guess it's nice to have a guaranteed proc, but I think we do fine just as is. SA3 feels better. Yeah, look at that damage in the sum. That is not so great. Not so great. Let's just finish up with the SA2. So we're going to end it there. Maybe, I'll admit, I didn't do the best runs. I think you definitely can get faster in both Very Hard and also Nightmare. But I just want to showcase a few runs, right? First impressions more so on the character. 19 seconds there. Definitely could be faster. But, you know, in comparison to Byakuya, a character that's technically not designed for Guild Quest, I mean, he clears faster than a Guild Quest unit. But then again, this isn't the first time we have seen this. So overall, as I stated at the start of the video, just a tad bit disappointing, isn't it? I'm still happy to have the character. I was still excited to pull for her. And you know what? One day in the future, I want to get a 5-5, which is a cool unit, but not what I was expecting. I was expecting more from this character. And you know, to those that are like hating on Rukia, saying she doesn't deserve a good character, disregarding that, she's a flawed unit, right? Like, she has problems. If this was any other character, let's say, for example, it was BG9. If it was even Giselle, I wouldn't have much problems with it. But it's the fact that it's Bankai Rukia, the character that everyone was waiting for her to not even be the highlights character of the banner is weird, right? I'm happy to have gotten a powerful Byakuya. Really fun unit, but I would have liked for Rukia to be up there with him. I personally don't have any problems with the character's visuals. The way she plays outside of Guild Quest, even in Guild Quest to a certain extent, she honestly plays fine. I like her strong attack here. There's just a few problems, and it mostly comes down to the fact that SA2 means that she has 2 wasted skills. Booster and Enhancer, which could have gone into giving her more damage on her strong attacks, more damage on her soul bomb, which I, to be fair, think is needed. At the same time, Guild Quest centered skills doesn't do her any favors either. Again, that melee and killer damage could have just been more raw damage. Once more, also on the soul bomb. Again, it feels weird that Bankai Rukia, the weakest part about her is the Bankai, because it does like no damage. She maybe should have gotten 2 killers. Overall, there's just so much should have. Could have. I think she's a good unit. Anyone saying she's bad is wrong, but Bankai Rukia should have been more than just a small upgrade to someone like Yumichiha. Cool unit though, happy to have her, just wish she offered a bit more. Either way, I might have rambled on long enough. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think about Rukia in the comments below. Let me know if you disagree with any of my takes on this character. I'm interested to see the other side of any potential things that I maybe missed out on or maybe I'm overlooking. Either way, I'll see you guys next time. Take care and peace.